So we have the NHL trade deadline coming up on Monday, and everyone seems to have a pretty strong opinion of whether the Caps should be buyers and sellers, and who they should buy and who they should sell. Ted, I don't know if you want to begin with your thoughts on this, and we'll see if I agree or not, or if we need to take us on the ice there.
Well, the Capitals have had, the recent road trip illustrated what a tough time the Caps have had breaking out. I think one of their major deficiencies is at center. I mean, right now they're using Keith Coyne up in Hershey. They have Matthew Perreault, who last year was sent down after the trade deadline. I think they really need to shore up the center area because I think it's affecting all aspects of the game. Basically, it's affecting the breakout, the power play. The center is such a key position they need it. And they also probably need to see if they can get a depth defenseman. It'll be interesting to see with whether Hammerlick set up a game on Friday, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with that.
Yeah, Hammerlick and Erskine were the two defensive structures on Friday. Definitely, we know that Jeff Schultz spent his time sitting out as well. So I would think that if you're going to see a move on defense, it's probably going to be one of those guys. You're obviously looking at Mike Green's return, with Dennis Wideman playing as well as he has this season, with John Carlson being such a young prospect. I'm in favor of the Capitals keeping all those three. I think they can make some really interesting defensive core as long as they find a Paul Alzner type player to go with each of those. So we'll see if any of those are available at the trade deadline. One thing that you said about center, I do really think that it's difficult because of Nicholas Backstrom's situation, because of what's going on with him and not doing his stats with the concussion. It's hard to decide where to make moves with that particular position, and I know all eyes are on that for the Capitals coming up Monday.
It'll be interesting because there's a decision to make, because if you put Nicholas Backstrom on long-term injured reserve and kind of think if he's going to be out for the rest of the regular season, you can use that cap room. Otherwise, then you have to kind of move some bodies off the roster because right now the Capitals are right near the cap. But potentially, obviously, there's been talk about Hammerlick last week. There's also been talk about what happens with Mike Newbold. That would clear some cap room, but there's another way to do it without subtracting too much from the roster. It'll be interesting to see what George McPhee does if he decides to go more prospects and picks, or decides to take some players off the roster.
And this is something I actually asked Egg Franklin around this time of year last time. How much do you think players want to come to Washington to play? I think you've seen over the past couple of years, I feel that most of the players, with the exception of the Joe Corvos, have been more excited as opposed to not to come to Washington. I mean, Thomas Vokoun said that he came here over the summer because he wanted to be on a Stanley Cup contending team. With the Capitals fighting right now, on the very kind of brink of the playoff competition, I mean, how excited do you think players are going to want to be to go ahead and come here?
I think it's still, if you're coming from a team that's, say, out of the playoffs, say Columbus or Edmonton, it's a chance to play for the playoffs. And this team, for all its warts, for all its injuries, is still within striking distance of not only 8th place in the Southeast, but, first place in the whole division. And, I think that a chance to play in the playoffs, and, as we've seen, there's a lot of unpredictable things that can happen in the playoffs. So obviously, Montreal came here 2 years ago, knocked the Caps out as an 8th seed. The Philadelphia Flyers, in that same year, barely got into the playoffs and went all the way to the finals. So there's kind of a misnomer, I think, that seeding is very important in this league because I think, the individual matchups between teams are so important. And I think the Capitals, they're so close to the playoff spot. They're hoping to get Backstrom back to the playoffs. We'll see if that happens. And they're just getting Mike Green back. And I think potentially with Thomas Vokoun, who's a streaky goalie, if he's high, definitely could make an interesting postseason if it can fall.
Well, as a St. Louis Cardinals fan regarding the MLB, I've been telling people that you never count a team out until, in this case, they are sitting at home in April and there are no more regular season games left to play and the standings tell them that they are out. And I really do think that, if you listen to, the players talking over the past couple of days. I heard there was one interview a couple days ago, Bruce Light said after practice, Dennis Wideman pointed out we're only a couple points out of the playoffs. So I really don't think that this team's mentality at this point right now is give up.
And you also have to remember long term, a guy like Vokoun accepted less money to come here because he's considered a contender. If you pull the plug, what does that mean? It means you may, if you start to do other things, you may have to pay more money for other free agents, and then the guys who really want to be here. So I think there's a lot to be decided. From everything we've heard, with the season ticket prices increasing next year, I'd be very surprised if this is a seller. We also have to remember it's a business because, the playoffs are such a revenue generator because we don't pay the salary to the players, the league does. So it'd be a very costly decision. I don't think the management is going to take that lightly. And I think they will try to add on and see if they can catch one of these teams and make a run.
I really agree too. I don't think the Caps are thinking long term this year. I think that they're thinking short term. They've been thinking long term for the past couple of years, and I think you even saw that with the coaching change in the season. That they are in it.
And I also think sometimes that can be a negative because I think if you expect, I don't think if you told them at the beginning of the year that you expect Nicholas Backstrom to miss all this time with a head injury, you wouldn't expect Mike Green to be out for almost the entire season. Hockey is an unpredictable game, and you only have so many chances every player's career to make a run, and I think they don't want to waste one this year.
All right, well, again, we'll see what happens all the way up until Monday, and then we'll get a look at the roster and see how much it's changed or how much it's stayed the same, and look at the Capitals' chances from there.